Hey everybody, Mr. Boss here. I apologize about my voice. I'm just a little bit under the weather, but we are here and I am here, and today, by the end of today, you will have a better understanding of the three branches of our federal government and how they operate. So, you need to know that the federal government is divided up into three separate and equally important groups, okay? The first is the legislative branch, and they're run by our Congress and our congressional representatives, okay? And they vote on the new laws that are going to be implemented into our nation, and they have other obligations as well. The judicial branch, and that's headed by the Supreme Court, they take the laws that are passed and they interpret them, okay? And they have a very important job, all right? Now, the executive branch, whose chief officer is the president, that's President Obama, and he carries out the laws among himself and obviously the rest of the executive branch. Okay, so now that we know a little bit about that, let's talk about what your task is going to be. So you are going to write a letter to one member of each of the three branches on an issue that you think needs to be addressed by the government. You're going to research each member. Now, this is important because you want to write to a member of each of the branches that actually cares about the issue that you are writing about and that you think needs to be addressed. Each letter has to be at least one page, and it's got to be double spaced. Going to want to use 12-point font. Okay, so go ahead, do some research on the topic that you want to write about, and provide some evidence. Okay, and this is important because you want to make it seem like your issue is worth being addressed, and the best way to do that is to provide solid evidence. You can use online sources, but Wikipedia is not going to be allowed. You can definitely do better than that, especially if you have an issue of national importance. There's going to be a ton of research out there for you. So choose a member of each of the three branches. All right. So here are some links for you. This first one, this is a list of the current members of the U.S. Congress. All right. This is a list of the members of the judicial branch. Okay. And this is a list of the members of the executive branch. You should know, and it says it right here, but you should know that these are just some of them. You should be able to find plenty of information here, but don't be afraid to go outside of these lists to find someone that you think might be passionate about the issue that you want to write about. So here we go. One letter, each letter, one page, double spaced to each of the three people that you've chosen. Introduce yourself in the beginning. Tell them who you are and where you live. Then introduce a paragraph on the issue and its importance. Okay? Then a paragraph detailing how they can get involved, and then at the end I want you to use that the information you've given to persuade that person, okay, to act on the issue or tell them how they can make an impact. So I want to make it so that you guys get excited about this, and the best way that I think I can do that is to give you the opportunity for some serious extra credit. Now, how do you do that? All you have to do is make sure that your letter is perfect. Send it to each of the members that you've chosen, and if you get a response by the end of the year, I will give you some pretty good extra credit. And like I said, all you have to do is find out where they are, put it in a stamped envelope, and send it away. Generally, you can get some sort of response, but it would be interesting to see who writes back and who doesn't. So how are you going to be graded on this? Here we go. We're going to grade you on your opening and your closing, your grammar, obviously, the length, your format. This needs to be business letter type. If you don't know how to write a business letter, we will talk about that a little bit. It's pretty simple, but it's going to have to be, it's going to have to comply with all the requirements for a business letter. Okay, your content. There has to be at least one eligible source, all right? You're going to want to put more than one, but you have to have at least one to have a passing grade, okay? Your ideas. Okay, these are what you want to say in your letter. Okay, so they need to be expressed in a clear and organized fashion. We're just talking about a page minimum, so it's not going to be that hard, but it needs to be organized, and it needs to sound. You need to sound like you know what you're talking about. All right, so it's not that big a deal, but if you can do all of these things, you'll earn a passing grade. Okay. So now that you have all of these things together, and once you get through this process of writing your letters to the three different branches, you should have a better understanding of how these branches work. Okay, their checks and balances, their strengths and limitations. Okay, you need to be able to identify and communicate with the working members of these branches, and this is a good way to understand why they're so important. All right, Each of these three branches has a very serious need, and they have to work together. And it's important to know how they work together. So as you get older, you might want to express your opinion, or you might want to advocate for other issues in your community. Once you do this, you'll be able to have the ability to do that. You can write to other leaders in your community. Okay? So everybody get started. I can't wait to see what you write about.